In the meantime, Donald Trump is battling perceptions that he might not be ready for the Oval Office job. That at least is what Hillary Clinton is alleging. And the candidate's son, Donald Trump Jr., pointed out that his dad is not a career politician, so he says there is something of a learning curve here.
I think we are learning on the go. We are figuring it out as we go. And I think my father's also, he's an opinionated guy. He's not just going to, when he believes in something principally, he's going to stand by it. And he's going to fight. And he's going to say what he's going to say because that's the way he is. That's what he's going to do for his country. Very differently than the Clintons where, hey, 1 week on this, the next week the winds have blown a little differently. So on this, I'll be whatever I want you to be, whatever you want me to be.
Senator Scott Brown, former Massachusetts senator and supporter of Donald Trump. Good to see you this morning, Senator. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Martha.
So I think, some people watched the last few weeks, even some people who are supporters or who are positive about the Trump campaign, and they felt like that learning curve hasn't really progressed a whole lot in the last month. What do you think?
Well, I have to respectfully disagree. If any of the candidates, the 17 on our side and the 5 on their side, are telling the American people, boy, we know everything. We're going to go right in there in the White House and we're going to be ready from the get-go. They're full of it because there is a learning curve for anybody running for that high elected office. And Donald Trump is not a politician. And quite frankly, that's what people like about him, the fact that he is going to fight for the things that he believes in. He's going to tell you what he thinks.
Everybody accepts the notion that, there's nothing like being in the Oval Office, and everybody has to approach it in a new way, obviously, when they get that enormous responsibility. But in terms of what's happened over the past few weeks and the judge comments, and, the judge comments have sort of unearthed the Muslim ban issue again because people sort of group those two comments by Mr. Trump in that same vein. So it's kind of brought it all back when a lot of people feel like he should be focusing on very different things right now.
I don't necessarily disagree. He is focusing on other things. He's obviously came out with a speech the other night that I thought was very appropriate. He's going to be speaking again Monday. He is raising and doing things, raising money, raising awareness on his particular issues. And I compare that quite with what Hillary Clinton's done in the past. The fact you have obviously the email scandal, Benghazi, not designating Boko Haram a terrorist organization when they are the #1 terrorist organization. The reset with Russia, Libya, and you could go on and on. So are those the type of decisions that people want as you move forward, that lack of clarity, the lack of making good decisions for this country?
I hear you. I mean,
think not. That's why they care very much about what's happening with Donald Trump.
I think a lot of Trump supporters would like to hear more of the things that you're talking about in terms of, turning away from some of these other issues and saying, I've said what I'm going to say on that, but here's what I want to talk to you about today, that kind of thing perhaps. And Karl Rove outlined some of his thoughts on it in the Wall Street Journal this morning. The president was on with Jimmy Fallon last night and had a little fun at your guys' expense. Let's watch this.
Do you think the Republicans are happy with their choice? We are, but I don't know how they're feeling.
There's a lot of ups and downs in this cycle to come, but at this moment it seems like Democrats are feeling pretty good about things.
Well, good for them. The election is not tomorrow, and if there's any indication in the governorships and a lot of their state and the state House races, and obviously the recent special elections, they're in trouble. They've always underestimated Donald Trump, and once again, they have a very flawed candidate. They don't like her, they don't trust her. Her negatives are almost just as high as Donald Trump's. So, the president can laugh all he wants. We know that he's itching to get out there. You know that the meeting today with Bernie Sanders is going to be about horse trading, trying to placate Sanders when they really rigged the system against him. He's going in there, going to kiss the president's ring and try to get the best deal he can. And to think that Hillary Clinton's going to pick someone like Elizabeth Warren when Bernie Sanders is the progressive person that these followers believe in is wrong.
Okay. Brown Kasich sat down with Bill yesterday, and he said, when it comes to supporting or endorsing Donald Trump in Cleveland, in his home state where he's governor, at the convention, he said he is trending away from that possibility. What's that going to be like if Cleveland happens and the governor of that state will not endorse the Republican candidate?
Well, once again, we have 5 months till then. I'm looking forward to going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and seeing the governor, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. I know he's working very hard.
It's weeks until the convention, though.
I'm sorry, to the actual election. But yes, weeks to the convention. Thank you. I'm sorry, I was thinking about the final election process.
Gotcha.
Yes, it is weeks, and a lot can happen in weeks. And they're going to obviously get together. They're going to continue to meet. Clearly, he's on the short list. He should be on the short list.
He said that he has no interest whatsoever in being VP. He said there's absolutely no way.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Good luck if you believe that. Of course he has an interest. If the President of the United States calls and says, I need you to be with me to save this country, they're going to be with that president regardless. And if you look at what John also said during that time period, he's talking about unifying. He's talking about, you know, stopping this and stopping that. Well, the way to do that, Governor Kasich, is to join forces with other Republicans and be that leader like I was when I endorsed, one of the first ones to endorse him, and others are stepping forward. Step outside that comfort zone and get involved and unify this party, Mr. Governor.
Will you call John Kasich and talk to him about this? Is that something you want to do?
I'm happy. I call my former colleagues and friends all around this country, asking them to at least pick up the phone call, keep an open mind, see who Donald's going to support, surround himself with, see who he's going to pick for vice president, and make a decision to make sure that Hillary Clinton doesn't become the president. They don't get the ambassadorships. They don't get the cabinet positions. They don't get the judicial positions. That's the choice. Simple as that, Martha.
Interesting. All right. So if he does a 360 and takes that job, you're going to be my first phone call, and we'll get you back on so that you can say, hey, I was right about that day. Senator Scott Brown, thank you very much.